All right, welcome back everybody. Well, this week's going to be a first venture into one of the most influential bands on me growing up, and I cannot believe I haven't done a single video yet on anything from Peter Buck or R.E.M. There will be lots more, my friends. But this is off their 1986 album Life's Rich Pageant, and this is Fall on Me by R.E.M. This was the first R.E.M. song that really hooked into me when it came out, and it was on MTV. And I sort of loosely had heard some R.E.M. songs sort of out there in the ether, but I heard this one, and it just, that chorus is such a hook, and it just grabbed me. And from that point on, it was sort of nonstop R.E.M. for about 8 years. From 86 to 95, 96, I just couldn't stop, couldn't get enough. But we're going to go and dive into this. There's basically 3 guitar parts that we're going to break down on this record. There's an acoustic and 2 different electrics, and I'm going to break all those down for you on this great song. So if this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, please jump down and click subscribe, ring the bell. The bell will let you know when I drop new content. I do that every single week. All my lessons have chapters in them, so you can go right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, I really appreciate that. There's thanks, just like throwing a tip in the tip jar. Or even better, you can join my Patreon, where I've got chord charts and tabs for all the lessons I do on YouTube, just like this one. Links in the description, so check it out. All right, so Fall on Me. So this is in standard tuning, and there's basically 3 guitar parts that I can pick apart when I'm listening to this. One is very obviously a 12-string acoustic, which runs throughout. There may be another 6 doubling it, but I sort of can't tell. But we're in standard tuning. I'm going to take you through the chords. We'll start with the acoustic, and then I'll build on the electrics after this. Easy for me to say. Okay, so the song intros with this clever little intro on electric that we'll learn, but this 12-string acoustic sort of comes in the middle of it, and it's this beautiful little thing. It's based on a C chord, okay? So, and it runs under the intro riff, and it goes like this. Just beautiful, right? This runs underneath that electric riff that happens, but just beautiful little piece right there. And now here's the chords. And I learned something new putting this lesson together. I had no idea. All my life, I was playing these 2 main rhythm chords wrong. I always thought it was a D minor to an A minor. And it is not. Can you believe that? It is not. Maybe you already knew that. So it's basically, it's fretted like the first chord is, technically you could call it a D minor, but it's sort of fretted like an F6. Okay? So it's still all the notes of a D minor. Those are octaves of one another. But that's the first chord. And the second chord is you just pick up your pinky finger off of the B string, and you come back and you fret what's like an F major 7. Okay, so those 2 chords. And what's happening is what Mike Mills is playing on the bass is sort of establishing that sort of movement between D and A somewhat, you know, and that's, I think, what's fooling my brain on it. But yeah, those are the 2 chords. So on the acoustic part, he just sort of brings in the way his strumming is. It's very Peter Buck, right? He's going to strum a chord, and then he's going to arpeggio the rest, you know, the rest of the way, the rest of the measure. So it's... And if you get that A string in there, that's fine. And when you watch him play live, he sort of oscillates between strings 1, 2, 3. And sometimes he comes back onto that root note on the 4th string. He does that a lot when he's playing, because you know, he's playing the electric, obviously, when they're live. But yeah, those are the two chords. And then your pre-chorus, we're back to this F6/D minor shape. I'm going to call it an F6 here. So buy the sky, sell the sky. You're just sliding that up. Straight D, or C. Straight D minor. Back to our 6, F6. Right, so let me just run through all of it, right? And then we're into the chorus. So yeah, it sort of does that quick slide up right before the chorus. I always thought it just sort of hung on the... But no. Right? And then we're into our great chorus, this great C, or 1, 2, 4, 5. Very hooky. It's, you know, it's like My Girl, right? I guess you said, right? Same thing, but Fall on Me. So C, D minor, straight D minor, F, G. And the way the acoustic plays it, the acoustic isn't playing that. That's the other guitars that are playing it. It's just very straight, aggressive. And then the last F. He does that little arpeggio thing. It's just a straight F, F major 7, and this little pickup here on the 3rd and 2nd string. And then we're back into our verse. Just something about Peter Buck's playing is so fluid and beautiful. Great example of that here. So, yep, there's that. And then there's the bridge. The only different part, I think, is the bridge section. And it comes out of the chorus and goes into that bridge, right? So let me run through the last little bit of the chorus and into that bridge part. Pre-chorus and chorus all the way out. So the chords are just very straightforward. It's an A, well, starts in A minor, but the chords are just strummed very straightforward when you listen to the sort of isolated track. It's none of that stuff that's happening with the electric. So it's A minor, F, A minor, E minor, A minor, F, D minor, straight D minor, G. And the way that's strummed. Then you're back into your pre-chorus to the chorus all the way out. Goes around twice. And that's your chorus all the way out through the outro. So anyway, Love that. I mean, the way that this band sort of orchestrates throughout a lot of its era of just, it was organic instruments, it was guitars, and they were right in the middle. I know a lot of people like discovered them in the 90s, but in the 80s they were like big on college radio and sort of the underground sort of, but you could just tell like they said, nope, not going to do synthesizers. I'm going to do acoustic drums. I'm going to do a mix of electric and acoustic guitar and some piano and other interesting things, but I'm not going to sound like the 80s. And by doing that, they just totally stood out with just great melodies and great arrangements and great songs, as you know. All right, so let's talk about the electric parts now. All right, for Peter Buck's electric parts. So I'm not exactly sure what guitar he used on the record and his gear. I have no idea. But recently got this. And I know he played this a ton live. Every time I saw him, he was playing it. Yeah, so details on my signal chain is going to be below. But it's this, my Rickenbacker 360 running into JMI Vox AC30. There you go. We're going to play a little R.E.M. with that. All right, so this intro that he plays, I did wrong for 30 years until I really sat down and figured this out and watched him. So it's sort of like, he's fretting this up here, it's sort of like the Pink Floyd, it's like that sort of a fingering almost. So picture, here's how I think about it. Picture a C chord up here. What you're doing is you're going to fret the root note of the C chord on your D string and your G note on your second string. And you're leaving the first and third open. Okay? In fact, you're not even actually going to play the first string. So everything is actually going to be on the second, third, and fourth string. And the way he plays it is this. So you're just hammering on the ninth and 10th on the fourth string and catching that open G string on your way back. And you're gonna do that little pull off there on 10 on your second string. And underneath that is that acoustic 12-string part that we learned earlier. So the number one, though there's two electric parts. One is sort of cleaner-ish, and one is dirtier-ish. But both on this guitar, as far as I can tell. I'm going to go with my bridge pickup for this one, and this is very, very similar to the 12-string. So it's almost like this electric treatment, almost identical to the acoustic that we just learned. He's sort of doubling it on this. So all those sort of rakes, those backward things, I think are happening with this guitar, most of them. But yeah, so same chords. And live, here's where I hear him very clearly hitting that note. So. And he's very. He's like actually never hitting that A string as far as I can tell. But just very careful about that little arpeggio. And if you hit the third or fourth string, it doesn't matter. I mean, I know he does both, right? But right? Everything else is the same. this is now playing that pickup. But strumming the chords very similar to the acoustic. Right? And that's that part. And then when it gets to the bridge, it's just a lot more energy, and it's more chords than arpeggio. So he's not sort of, it's not so much that, it's right, it's just hard strumming. Goes back into it. Right, so that's the number one electric part. So it's just him pretty much, as far as the vibe, is doubling the 12 string part and just adding that edge on it. Might even have a little more dirt than what I'm giving it. And then there's sort of the extra overdrive guitar that I think is just same setup. He's just cranking it. So I'm going to do the same thing and stand by. All right, electric guitar number 3. It's just, I think it's the same setup. Maybe he's playing it on the middle pickup. It sort of sounds like that to me, but I've just cranked my AC30 top boost channel up to about 7 or 8. And so it's just a lot more bite to it. And you sort of not, he's laying low. I think on the first chorus, maybe you hear him a little bit. He's just sort of doubling the root note of the chords. So that he's adding that in on the last little bit. At the end of that chorus. The next chorus, you sort of hear it a little more pronounced. And he's also doing the... I think he throws in a couple other notes, but he's still sort of holding down the root note of those chord changes. And then at the end of it... And then here's where he really shines. You can just really hear this part. This is the guitar that does this arpeggio on the bridge section. That's the first two that he does. Just doubling again the bottom end of the pre-chorus and chorus chord. Anyway, that's the vibe that he's laying on with electric guitar number 2. So that's all the parts to Fall on Me by R.E.M. So I hope you learned something new today. So if this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, please jump down and click subscribe. It helps me out. And ring the bell. The bell will tell you when I drop new content. I do it every single week. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this. And if there's another song you want me to take on, let me know what that is too. But until next week, take care, everybody.